Sinner's lawyer confesses how the deal was made to avoid a harsher ban. The offer was more attractive. February 9 marked the beginning of Sinner's suspension, and the punishment will last until May 4. This means the Italian will miss key tournaments like Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, and Madrid, but he will return just in time for the Rome Masters 1000, the prelude to Roland Garros. The most striking aspect of this case is how quickly it was resolved. Sinner had a hearing scheduled for April, where the punishment for his double positive in an anti-doping test would be determined. However, his legal team reached an agreement with WADA before the tribunal could issue a ruling. His lawyer revealed details that have sparked even more controversy. The tennis player was close to rejecting the deal, but his team convinced him that it was the best option, as WADA was pushing for a one-year suspension. Accepting the 3-month ban ensured his return in May, allowing him to avoid missing the most important tournaments of the season. Djokovic's outrage and other players' reactions. Not everyone agrees with this outcome. Novak Djokovic has been one of the most vocal critics of how the case was handled. According to the Serbian, many players in the locker room feel that Sinner received preferential treatment. Most players don't feel it was fair, they feel there is favoritism, Djokovic stated, implying that Sinner's status as one of tennis rising stars may have influenced the final decision. And this isn't the first time the tour has faced accusations of inequality and doping sanctions. In the past, other players have received much harsher punishments, reinforcing the perception that not everyone is treated the same way. What's next for Sinner? Despite the suspension, the Italian continues to train, though he cannot use official facilities on the professional tour. His return in Rome will be crucial in assessing his physical and mental state after this turbulent period. But the big question remains, has Sinner been treated fairly? Would he have received the same deal if he weren't an elite player? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this topic is going to spark a lot of debate. Sinner receives unexpected support from Nadal. Tony Nadal, I am against the ban. During the presentation of the Mallorca Open, Tony Nadal made his stance clear. He believes Sinner's punishment is unfair and that the Italian did not act with bad intentions. You can't treat someone like this for an error that happened accidentally. You should punish those who intentionally do things wrong for their own benefit, and I know this is not the case with Sinner. But Tony Nadal didn't stop there. He also sent a direct message to the players who have criticized Sinner, hinting that some of them lack the moral authority to speak about fairness in tennis. I'm surprised that different players have spoken out against him, even some top-level ones, and some who are not very clean themselves. These words will undoubtedly provoke reactions on the tour. Who was Nadal referring to? The criticism continues. Del Potro also questions the process. Despite Tony Nadal's support, Sinner remains in the eye of the storm. The latest to speak on the issue is Juan Martín Del Potro, who was highly critical of everything that transpired. Everyone has lost credibility, the ATP, the anti-doping authorities, and Sinner's image. I don't think anyone has gained anything from this case. The whole situation is strange. The Argentine's words reflect what many people think. The case has left more questions than answers. Why was the suspension so quick and lenient? Would a less high-profile player have been treated the same way? Was Sinner's punishment fair or favoritism? The debate is more heated than ever. While players like Djokovic, Kyrgios, and Del Potro believe Sinner received special treatment, Tony Nadal defends him, claiming it was an unintentional mistake. The fact is that the Italian will return in May, just in time for the clay court season without missing a single Grand Slam. However, the stain on his reputation may take longer to fade. Jannik Sinner breaks his silence with a photo in the snow. 9 days have passed since Sinner accepted the punishment that will keep him off the courts until May 4. Since then, he has not made any statements on social media or in press conferences. However, his first public image after the ban appeared in a very particular setting, skiing in the mountains of Tyrol, his homeland. A young fan shared a photo on Instagram with the Italian, who appeared relaxed and enjoying the moment. The next day, another image of Sinner on a golf course began circulating on social media. For many, this is no surprise. Since childhood, Sinner has had a special relationship with skiing. He was born in the Italian Tyrol and was a national giant slalom champion between the ages of 8 and 12. His future seemed destined for the snow, but at 13, he decided to leave it all behind for tennis. I chose tennis because I like to play. Skiing is about a minute and a half down the hill, and if you make a mistake, it's all over. In tennis, you can make some mistakes and still win, that's why I chose it, he explained in a 2021 interview. Now, while the tennis world debates his punishment, Sinner seems to have found solace in skiing, using it as a way to clear his mind and escape the media noise. A controversial punishment, fair or too lenient? Since Sinner's suspension was announced, public opinion has been divided. His positive test for Klostebol occurred during the 2024 Indian Wells tournament, but WADA accepted that it was due to accidental contamination. Even so, the Italian accepted a 3-month ban, though he initially resisted. His lawyer, Jamie Singer, revealed key details about the negotiation with WADA. From day one, Yannick did not challenge the science, the test, or the rules. He accepted responsibility for what was in his body, even if it was a trace. But in his own mind, he knows he did absolutely nothing wrong and that the process followed the rules. So, I think he feels very at peace with himself. However, this negotiated punishment has raised suspicions. While some players have faced much harsher sanctions in the past, Sinner will be able to return just in time for the key clay court tournaments, including the Rome Masters 1000 and Roland Garros. That's why players like Novak Djokovic and Nick Kyrgios have accused the system of favoring the Italian. Most players feel there was special treatment. It seems you can influence the outcome if you're a top player, said Djokovic. Adding to the criticism, Juan Martín del Potro was even harsher in his assessment. Everyone has lost credibility, the ATP, the anti-doping authorities, and Sinner's image. I don't think anyone has gained anything from this case. The whole situation is strange. Meanwhile, fans are also divided. Some believe his punishment was too lenient, while others argue he shouldn't have been sanctioned at all. Tony Nadal and Jimmy Connors defend Sinner. Despite the criticism, Sinner is not alone. Several big names in tennis have come to his defense. One of them is Tony Nadal, Rafael Nadal's former coach and uncle. During the Mallorca Open presentation, Tony was clear in his stance. I am against the ban. I know Sinner personally, and I know he had no intention of cheating. Another supporter is tennis legend Jimmy Connors, who believes the sport loses more with Sinner's absence than it gains from his suspension. Tennis is better with Sinner. He has dominated and played exciting tennis over the past 18 months. It's a shame that his achievements have been tarnished this way. What's next for Sinner? His return in May will undoubtedly be one of the most anticipated moments of the year in tennis. After months of uncertainty, speculation, and controversy surrounding his suspension, all eyes will be on him when he steps back onto the court. The Masters 1000 in Rome will be his first opportunity to showcase his readiness for the upcoming French Open, and the world will be watching closely to see how he handles the pressure. But beyond his physical form, there will also be a psychological component at play. How will Sinner handle the scrutiny, both from the media and his rivals? The potential impact of this case on his reputation and his future in the sport will hang over him like a shadow, even if he performs at his usual high level. As he re-enters the competitive circuit, one key question remains: how will his fellow players treat him? While some have shown their support, others have expressed doubts about the fairness of his suspension. His return will test not only his skill but also his ability to navigate the complex dynamics of the locker room. Now, the question is for you: do you think Sinner was treated fairly, or was his punishment too lenient? With the controversy still fresh, do you believe this incident will impact his future success in tennis? Should the decision have been different if it were a player with less star power? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over, and it's clear that the story surrounding Sinner is just beginning to unfold. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Tennis Zone and turn on notifications to stay updated on the biggest tennis news. Like and share this video if you want more content on the Sinner scandal and other major stories in the tennis world. See you in the next video. Until next time.